Hey, talk about this teen driving stuff you guys are doing. Sounds like it's been a huge success.
Yeah, it has. So I don't know why we resisted this for so long at the sheriff's office, but I want to put this process in place when I became your sheriff. It's a program that's actually run through the Florida Sheriff's Association, funded through, I think it's Allstate or State Farm, or one of those big insurance companies that actually fund the program. But anyways, we took it here this year to St. Johns County. We had a great partnership with Jack Hanania. Actually loaned us a bunch of cars from the Chevy dealership down there because some of our kids just didn't have cars. So over 250 kids went through our program. Our youth resource deputy sheriffs from our school division actually taught the program. They went to the instructor school for that. And of course, with our drive-in track out there, we had a controlled environment, which was actually good for the kids so they get out there.
Bumpers.
Yeah, it was actually awesome. So great program. And then we decided to go ahead and extend the program into the school year. So we're going to have dates are actually on our webpage where we're actually going to go ahead and do the teen driving challenge throughout the school year. But it gets us that side-by-side alone time with our kids in our schools and get that rapport building too. So it serves more than one purpose. You know, of course, these kids all came out throughout the summertime here and took their days to spend with our deputy sheriffs and learn, of course, the proper driving skills and techniques. But we got that one-on-one time too, because they identify what school or high school they're from. And then you get that one-on-one time saying, I'm the youth resource deputy sheriff in that school.
That's great.
So yeah, it just forms those bonds and relationships. So there's more than just a teen driving challenge. It's three-pronged, right? It's just a great partnership. And then of course also too, it gets a great relationship building with our young men and women that are actually driving now in St. Johns County. So overall, over 250 kids went through the program. And I think we led the entire state of Florida in the counties, which was awesome.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah, it was awesome.
Huge.
You teaching pit maneuvers too, or?
Well, no, it's funny you say that. So maybe I shouldn't say this. But anyway, so I was out there actually just checking on my people. And where's my attorney at? Oh, never mind.
Yeah, don't answer. Come on.
Anyway, so I'm out there. And so, of course, I check on my people all the time all around St. Johns County. So I go out there, and then, of course, the kids are on the track out there. And then what we would do is actually put them in one of our cars because we want to do the controlled braking. We didn't want to do it in one of their own car and show them how the anti-lock brake system actually works at full speed.
Okay.
So we put them in one of our patrol cars that are assigned to the drive-in track out there and put them in the car and let them go ahead and do the I'm talking just, hey, go fast, and we'll tell you when to slam the brakes on, physically mat it to the floor.
Yeah, it's
and then
good to
they see
learn.
how the anti-lock braking system actually works. Well, and then we'd also take them for a little drive around the track after that.
But seriously, that would mean the world to me. Yeah.
They're like, hey, Sheriff, want to take the kids for a drive? I'm like, yeah, sure. And
I had
like that.
I had no
one kid in the
idea.
back seat was like this the whole time. He was like,
The back seat's not comfortable. I had no idea until you guys gave me a tour of like a cop car.
It's not made for a guy your height.
I didn't know. Yeah, I had no
It's
idea.
too short for a guy my height.
It's like crazy. Yeah.
Yes,
Not
we
luxury.
We just had a little fun in the car. Yeah, they actually had a good time. So,
But
the one kid in the back seat from Creekside, I saw his eyes in my rearview mirror. I did a J turn at like 45 miles an hour, and he was in the back just.
Oh,
so
my
then we got
Lord.
done at the end, and they opened the doors. There was nothing being said. Like, oh, Sheriff, have a good day. No one said a word. Just got in the car and drove off. Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it's again, that relationship building, that bonding is so important. It really is too. But also too, we're putting these kids back on the street, with a better understanding and sense of course, how the car actually responds to locking the brakes up or just simply taking an evasive turn. Part of the course is they go off the road onto the dirt and do a correction to get back on. The old days of jerking the tire to get back on. Now we teach them to ride the side of the road and get back on nice and slowly. Just some little things, of course, you learn as you grow up in life.
Yeah.
Great. We're going to add some stuff next year. We have some private donors here in St. Johns County, so we're going to add some stop signs, some yield signs, some pedestrian walkways, and that way it gets them some other understanding of, where kind of, what you do when you approach those type of things. Yeah. It was awesome.
Smart.
It was phenomenal. Yeah.
And I think it's important for kids to learn that their sheriff and their youth resource deputies are humans, and they're looking out for their best interests.
Yeah.
I mean, I remember our youth resource deputies when I was in school. I had two that everybody still knows these days, Bo Strange and Tony Coleman.
Oh my God.
They were great.
Yeah.
They were great youth resource deputies at
incredible
the schools,
people.
man.
Yeah,
And they were just great at interacting with the kids. They were nice guys. They were fun guys to talk to. And I think that's what you want. And that's probably,
Completely agree.
That's how you connect with these kids.
I just spoke to them yesterday morning. All 62 of them were in a room basically as they get ready to go back. We're doing some training, just some little things we had to square away before they go back on Monday. And I was told them how proud I am of them. The old days of you're retired, now you're stuck in a school. These deputy sheriffs want to be there, and they're a special group of people in there, and it's a bunch of young men and women. It matches what our demographics look like in St. Johns County, and they're just they're just amazing. And I challenged them yesterday. I was like, hey, get to know your school crossing guards. get to know these kids and, spend time with these kids. But this is the group last year that were invited to birthday parties, grown men like us invited to a little girl's, 10-year-old birthday party because you're that special to her in school. So it's a special place. And I told him yesterday, I said, hey, if you think you're in trouble for playing Foursquare or basketball or, jump rope or being on the jungle gym, that's what we should be doing. So it's a great partnership we have with them. And we want these kids, don't forget, just 4 years ago, they're wearing masks. Just 4 years ago, they were being told to hide in a corner because of active shooter training. I mean, these kids didn't grow up like us.
No.
So
those are traumatic experiences.
I have to agree with you.
School.
Yeah. So we, again, we got to do something different so these kids feel welcome to come to school and they want to come there. So just doing something different.
That's awesome.
Yeah. It's huge. I want to talk about an unfortunate update in a missing persons case.
Yeah, Carlos.
Yeah. We talked about Carlos Tavares.
Yeah.
We've been talking about him for the last couple of years, I think.
Sure.
And then I know we recently had a story about bones that were discovered.
Yeah, back in February this year.
Yeah, it turns out, unfortunately, these two stories are related.
Yeah, there's good and bad to it. We always want closure for these families. Of course, you always want the best result, which is coming home alive. But in this situation, Carlos disappeared back in 2022 and really just had nothing, no leads in it, nothing that came up. And then February this year, we had an individual that actually reported that they had found some skeletal remains, some bones near their property. So, of course, we went down there, we collected the bones. We looked for additional bones at the time and didn't find any. And then we sent all these bones off to the Florida Department of Law Enforcement laboratory, attesting them. Now, since we knew that Carlos was missing, we had, of course, some DNA on file through his loved ones that we could actually match up his DNA. So his DNA was actually matched up. We got the results back just here recently. They did come back to Carlos Tavares. And he disappeared, of course, in that area of Faith Street, back in 2022. We know people actually have information down there in the Flagler Estates area to the, basically what happened to Carlos. So we're asking them to come forward. Of course, they can be anonymous too as well, but we just want closure for that family down there. They deserve it. It's important to them. Yes, we returned Carlos to them with his remains, but now we need to figure out what happened to Carlos. Yeah. So, and we're behind the 8 ball. It's 2 years ago, 2022. So, again, just a horrific case, tragic. But again, also a little bit of closure too as well. But now we need to solve this case and see what exactly happened to him. So there'll be some different forensic exams done to his bones now. We've recovered more bones since then. And so the goal is, of course, with a forensics, examination by our medical examiner and maybe some additional outsourcing to see if there was some type of, something went on in there too as well.
What was the area like where you found him?
It was a very wooded area there behind some, down there they have bigger lots down there. So, but it was in a wooded area where it was actually found, but on a property line, close to a property line.
So a place where nobody's like really looking every single day.
No way.
Okay, got it.
No.
And from what I understand, that's kind of suspicious, and there is some belief that there may have been other individuals involved in this happening.
Yeah, and you're absolutely right, Pete. So there is some other people of interest, of course, we've been talking to that are cooperating with us. But again, we had to find what we have now is that body. So it gives us that missing piece of the puzzle per se. So our men and women are some of probably the best in the country, I'll be honest with you, through our detectives and our investigators and our partnership with the State Attorney's Office Homicide Investigative Unit. But right now, we just don't know what happened to him. And it really could be, who knows, it could be a drug overdose, could be a suicide, could be a murder. But we look at it holistically, of course, as a suspicious death.
Yeah. Well, I think it speaks a lot to the fact that, you guys have a lot of cases on your hands at all times. Right. Obviously, you guys are always busy. We're a very busy county and we're a growing county, but you guys don't forget about these cases. You guys are working these cases until you're finding resolutions.
Yeah, absolutely. And you just said something too that, we don't have a whole lot of violent, well, I shouldn't say that. We don't have a whole lot of violent crime in St. Johns County.
Right.
I mean, the proof is in the pudding, meaning the stuff that we report to the Federal Bureau of Investigation, every year. And actually we've had a 10% reduction in crime, violent crime since I became your sheriff. And again, that's all but that's actually, it's broken down by homicide, sexual battery, robbery, and aggravated assault in the north, but aggravated battery down here. It's one and the same crime, basically. So the only thing we had an increase in there was an 18% increase in sexual battery in there. We don't have a lot of homicides. I think TK Waters to the north of us had 118 last year. We had 3.
Right.
Ours are all solved, even though we haven't arrested on the last one yet. So again, we ask anybody to come forward, contact the St. Johns County Sheriff's Office, contact Crime Stoppers. You can remain anonymous, but let's give closure to this the family for Carlos Tavares.
Yeah, absolutely. Hey, I want to turn to a little bit more positive news.
Jovial.
You guys got What's that?
Jovial news.
Jovial.
There it is.
Okay.
The man with the words. Like
The PAL Donut
Yes.
Dash 5K. This is
The
happening
Donut Dash.
tomorrow.
Yes.
PAL's a great program. I love talking to your PAL deputies.
I know
and
they do a good interview every time they're on
they
here,
really
too.
do.
Yeah.
They're fun. They're great people, and I
Yeah,
can
they're
see why these
characters.
kids love them.
Yeah. So tomorrow's our annual, I think it's the second or third year we've done it. But anyways, it's our PAL 5K Donut Dash. So tomorrow at Nocatee, I'm right there in front of the Nocatee Field Station. So right near the splash parks per se. You'll see us all set up there. All proceeds go to our Police Athletic League. We service in just over 2,200 kids a year through our Police Athletic League. So most of them are on free or reduced lunches too as well, which is awesome. So tomorrow, 8 a.m. At the Nocatee Field Station, right in front of you'll see the parking lot with all of our law enforcement cars out there. Ken and I will be out there too as well, like we do every year. And then also, too, there's a 9 o'clock kids fun run. So the 5K kicks off at 8, and then the 9 o'clock kids fun run is at 9 o'clock. That follows right after the 5K. So come on out, have a good time. We get some great sponsors out there.
Peace, love, little donuts. You can't go wrong, right?
Peace, love, little donuts. Yeah, they are amazing, by the way. So also, too, again, all this money, all the proceeds go right back to our Police Athletic League here in St. Johns County. So thanks for mentioning that.
Such a long way.
Yeah, crazy, right?
I mean, under Sheriff Perry, we didn't have a PAL, and I actually had to talk to corporate PAL to come in here, and brought Mike Dillion.
Now Dillion
and he ended up being. We started the PAL here, and Mike ended up being the head of all PAL all over the United States.
Wow.
Yeah.
I mean,
Special man, by the way, Mike DeLeon is.
Such a long way. No, great dude.
You remember the old Kevin Kelshar days, right?
Oh, yeah. No,
Kevin
with his baseball team.
The PAL travel baseball team was like one of the best in the state. I mean,
really?
Oh, yeah. Two times. I didn't
He
get on
takes
there.
that serious. I still play poker with Kevin every now and then.
Oh, do you really?
Yeah.
He's a real traveler.
He's been a family friend
He's
for a long
special
time.
man. I tell you, that guy's a special man, and his beautiful wife too as well. I mean, just special people.
Yeah.
And no hidden agenda, just raw
I love his
friendship.
Because Kevin always traveled with a video camera.
Oh, yes.
He's got so many videos.
And on your birthday, he would put a video together for you. Like he put one of me from the early 90s.
Yeah.
Like about 3 or 4 birthdays ago. And I was like, where did you get? I'd never seen the footage. I think Ricky was actually in the video.
Wow.
Because it was me refereeing basketball, and I think I saw a little mean kid.
Yes.
Really?
With the middle finger blurred out?
Yeah.
Kevin, he put together some great videos too after he retired. I remember putting some of those out on social media.
He really was the author of that history book. I mean, he put all that work in that history book at the sheriff's office.
Yeah.
And it just got delayed because of COVID. But that man's got a gift. And but back in the PAL days, he had the elite, PAL baseball team.
I
love that.
He still loves baseball.
Loves baseball.
I know he does.
Historian of baseball.
I think his grandson plays, right? Yeah, I think so. I think so, right?
Okay,
Yeah.
I think so. Yeah, one of my first memories in life was going over to Kevin Kelshar's house. This is before he actually worked for the sheriff's office.
Yeah.
Months before he actually got the job, actually. And we would play RBI baseball on Nintendo.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I mean, even when he was playing video games, it was baseball video games.
Yeah.
It was great.
I mean, you got to figure when I took over the office of the sheriff, he was in the drop, so I lost that expertise.
Yeah.
And then Chuck Mulligan retired too as well. That was my go-to people there.
Yeah.
That was, that I've known my whole career.
Yeah.
Talking 30 years probably. Each of them, and I've know those my whole life. But so that was something I had to rebrand, reestablish as a sheriff in St. Johns County. But just a great friend and a great mentor of mine, and just a special person. But again, he was the PAL. Him and Mike Dillion, man, they were the face of the PAL back in the days.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
No, I mean, it was just and Cynthia's over in Hastings, and I think she's still involved in the PAL.
She's doing something. Yeah, she's doing something over there. Yeah, with the the Hastings Warriors. I think the Hastings. I'm John Blank. Anyways, with the Hastings youth over there, though. Yeah,
cool,
awesome people.
Hey, our last topic today: early voting starts tomorrow.
Goodness gracious!
Are you ready to just have this political stuff out of the way? I mean, I see. I watch TV, and there's these commercials popping up, and I know the stats, and I'm looking here like. They're just lying.
They're not even
just
true.
lying. They're not even trying to come close to the truth. And I can't imagine the effect that has on people like yourself who are running and you're just trying to do a good job for people in St. Johns County, and you got to deal with this stuff. So you got to be excited that this stuff we're seeing the light at the end of the tunnel here.
I am, and this is probably the worst part of my job, of course, is running for office, because I love being a law enforcement officer. I love being a leader in law enforcement officer. I love serving my community. I love my community, but these politics, man, and it probably wasn't that bad maybe 20 years ago or 10 years ago. Without this mean thing here. And people are such cowards behind these things. They say the things, but I don't.
They don't even put their face out there. They have a lot to say, but no face.
Well, it's like I get these text messages. I try to call it back, and the phone is telling tell us, Boof. I mean, come on, if you want to be a man or woman about it and talk about it, let's talk about it. But, I stand on my, if this is what they're attacking me on, I'm okay. I'm okay because it's not morals, it's not ethics, and it doesn't involve doing something with my wife that would embarrass my family. I'm okay with that. Don't smoke, don't drink. I'll drive on, keep doing what I'm doing.
You got some new equipment. We talked about how outdated the helicopters are. You got some new helicopters coming, and you're paying your deputies more, which they deserve to be paid more. You can't live on these crappy $40,000 a year salaries in St. Johns County. You can't do it.
But we forget about everybody else that works behind the deputy sheriffs, like our 911 operators.
Right.
When I took over, they were making just over $30,000 a year. And we were short. Why we're short? Trying to live in St. Johns County, and fast forward now, they make over $50,000 a year. We have 70 dispatcher, positions. They're full staff. But also too, I got administrative. I hate the word secretary, but I got administrative staff that were making in the high $20,000. This is 3.5 years ago.
Yeah.
My lowest paid employee now is $40,000, and it doesn't sound like a lot, but coming from $29,000 is a lot of money. So it's in the low 40s. And we had school crossing guards that were making peanuts that get no benefits. I mean,
if you want the best of the best, they have to want to work there, and they have to be able to survive off their job.
Benefits and compensation and benefits are expensive. And, it's funny because somebody today twisted said it comes with a cost. You're darn right it comes with a cost. If you want to pay your people, it comes with a cost.
Yeah.
And the cost is increasing your budget to take care of your people. And if I can get my deputy sheriffs to $60,000 this year and compete with TK, who's going to 64, I would say you should be proud of us, because that's what you want. Is you want first-class customer service and men and women that want to come to work.
Right. Yeah.
We don't want to lower our standards to bring men and women into this agency, and then you get poor customer service and complain because you got poor customer service.
Right.
I'm going to say because you refuse to give me money to increase my budget.
Yeah.
And the commission's been good to me. And not just here. The St. Augustine Beach Commission was good to me. Did the same thing there. And now the sheriff's office are doing the same thing. So I think we're in a great place, and we'll move forward. This will be over with, and God's got a plan for me. And whatever it is, I'm a man of integrity and honesty, and I love my wife, and I love my family, love my community, and I will give you the next best 4 years. So put me back in office again 4 years, and we'll continue to move forward like we're doing now.
Let's rock and roll.
Yeah.
Let's do it.
These commercials on everything else, though. Whoa. Yeah. I can only imagine between now and November.
Yeah.
It's going to get, as you turn on the TV, it's like, please just show me just the weather. Just for 5 seconds. I just want to see what the weather's going to be like.
I know.
Just want to see if I need my galoshes.
It's in every commercial block, these political ads.
Bless
It's
America,
nuts,
man.
The bad part is no one else can afford advertisement because it jacks up the prices of everything else.
Everything else. Yeah. I can't imagine what goes into these. TV's not cheap. I mean, I know we're paying for commercials. I can't keep up with these other races out there, but I'm like, oh my God.
Yeah. I know it.
I just want my mailbox clean.
Yeah, I'm ready to
Well, if you
shake
come
that
work for
out.
me, you'd be protected. You ain't going to worry about that.
Oh, yeah.
I don't get them.
Oh, yeah,
I'm protected,
that's right.
Yeah, of course I get them for everybody else. Like, do you see this one, Sheriff? I'm like, nah, I really don't. Oh, that's a bad one.
Can we get some sort of, high-profile person protection or something out here? I mean, there's a lot of people that, they got problems and they want to fight.
Right.
This is my thing. Aren't we held to a different ethical and moral standard, especially my position, right?
Yeah.
So the other day, I will not go negative on whoever my opponent is. I will not go negative. I'm not doing it. I'm better. Kendall and I are better than that.
Yes.
But also, too, I represent 1,000 men and women across the street. I'm just not going down that road. I mean, I get in the car sometimes and Kendall will be like, ah!
Of course. I hope so. That shows you need to be able to have
with
that.
Kendall only.
That's it. Yeah.
I really don't. The funny thing is, people forget that my job stops, my election stops the other day because we got a hurricane coming. I got 300,000 people plus in this area who depend on me to make sure we're making the right decisions. So the campaign goes to the side. It's not important. What's important is to take care of our people during a storm because they're so unpredictable, as you know. So,
and you've been in this world long enough where, like, you know your truth about you. So whatever they say, really, I mean, it rolls off. And like when I was Parks and Recreation, people would say stuff and it rolls off. But I mean, the people around me that love me were just like, oh, and I was like, why are you listening to them? They're idiots. Why are you listening to them?
I know.
But I mean, the new people that just get into politics, there's a couple people out there that are really taking it to heart. And I'm just like, well, why are you listening to them?
Yeah.
You can't take that to heart. You
know what's funny?
You know your truth about you. That's all that matters.
I defended myself for a while. I'm like, wait a minute, I'm defending equipment and paying my people. And next thing you know, I'm defending myself, and a local media source interviewed me and says, what about your office? Did you renovate your office? I'm like, I was in the medical examiner's office where they cut bodies. Yes, I wanted to put a little paint on the walls because I have bad memories in there.
Yeah.
Well, did you renovate again? No, I moved into the Wise potato chip factory, actually, which was the old commercial kitchen. If you come to my office, there's a little dip in the floor. That's where the grease strip was
Where
at.
the drain
Yes,
was.
yeah.
So after we repurposed that building again since 1963, we moved our comms to a new building. I had to throw a little something on the wall to make it. I do have people come to my office, and I do want to be, I am representing the entire St. Johns County Sheriff's Office and the entire public.
Right.
I do want to look a little bit cleaned up a little bit.
Yeah, you're not the stock room at JCPenney's over there, right?
I had one of my cabins in this morning. Goes, this was a stove room. Yes, sir. It's the stove you're sitting at.
When I read that, I was like, that's all they got?
I'm sorry.
right.
I mean,
Right.
Yes.
I literally read that and
Yes.
went,
Yeah.
wow.
Yeah.
That's all you got?
I renovate this office once a year. Once a year I renovate.
That and my disability for the United States military. I was like, I'm sorry I got screwed up over in Iraq. I didn't mean to.
Right.
I didn't want to breathe in, we were burning human feces every day, stirring it like freaking soup, and we had to breathe it in. I didn't want to be a private and burn the poop.
Yeah.
I didn't want Saddam to burn the oil field and breathe it in, and my lungs are screwed up now. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I'm not doing it. I don't defend myself anymore. I know who I am, and I know the people that look at me, and they know who I am too as well. But the other people, it's a small percentage.
Most genuine person in leadership that I've ever met, sir.
I love y'all.
Absolutely.
Appreciate y'all. Did we go over our time?
No.
No,
We're
we're
just
good.
about to close it out. Sheriff,
Awesome.
we always appreciate your time. Thank you, sir, for what you do.
Hey, get out and vote, everybody, too, as well. And put me
Yes.
back in office for 4 years. I appreciate y'all's support as always. Thank you.
Absolutely. Yes, sir.